Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the new Ram Rebel to the new Ford F-150 Tremor to see who makes a better off-road pickup. Before we get in this video, I'm going to give a huge shout out and link you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Provo for giving me some time with the Rebel, and to the Larry Miller Ford here in Provo for giving me some time with the Tremor. I'll include a link to both of their websites in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And by the way, both of these trucks are available for sale for the time being if you happen to be interested. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 16 around town and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 400 horsepower and then 500 pound-feet of torque. And then with the Ram, we have a twin-turbo 3-liter inline 6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 17 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 469 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the Ford, you can see there's some venting there on the hood, pretty cool looking. And then you can see how the lights go into the gold accenting there. And then this bumper is pretty fancy for an off-road truck. I mean, painted, you do have the bash plate there, kind of like in Raptor style. But yeah, very fancy looking. Popping over to the Rebel, they have more of a commitment towards off-roading, I think, so hood venting just like the Ford. But the big thing is when you pop down below, powder coated front bumper, so that's going to hold up a lot better. Still have skid plate protection underneath just like with the Ford. But yeah, I think they're both good looking in their own right. But let me know which one you like the best with the front. Now with the Ford, our tire wheel setup is 275 by 70 by 18 on the front and over in the rear. And the Rebel has the same setup, but obviously different tires and wheels. So with the Rebel, you can see the design there at the wheel. And then here's the tires. I do prefer the tires on the Rebel personally in terms of long-term wear and tear to what you have here on the Ford. Really cool wheel style on the Ford though. Gotta give the Ford a point for having side steps. The Rebel does not. And the Rebel's two-tone. You've got the black on the bottom, whereas the Ford's monotone. This is pretty cool, the Tremor decal. And then look at the difference with the mirrors. The Rebel has those trailer mirrors. And then if we pop into the very rear here, it's the big old Rebel decal. Some of you will like that, some of you won't. And then the Tremor, a lot more conservative. Now, the Ford has leaf springs, and then it's got twin tube shocks in the back. With the Ram, we've got coil suspension, and then we've got, I can't really see it, but we've got Bilstein shocks in the back. Now, taking a look at the bed of the Ram, you can see it's already protected from the factory. We've got the sliders here for the tie downs. It's always a nice feature. You can see with the LED bed lights as well. Got an outlet there too. But yeah, plenty of space. Lifting up the tailgate's very easy. I like the back end of the Rebel. New taillight design is pretty cool looking as well. Dual exhaust tip setup too. Popping over to the Ford, you can see you've got an outlet here in the bed. You got the points for the cargo tie downs. No bed liner, but we do have LED lights, which is nice. So, and then you've got the tailgate step, and then lifting this up, pretty easy to do. And then you can see with the taillight design on the Ford, got the dual exhaust tip set up there on the back too. So let me know which rear end you like the best. And this leads us to the back of the Ford. So you guys can see the legroom back here is pretty solid. Got a little storage pocket in the rear. We've got our cup holders, and then down below we've got the vents, some charging ports as well. And I love the seats here in the Tremor with the camo print. I think that's a really cool design element. And then headroom here in the back of the Ford is great. And in the back of the Ram, tons of legroom just like the Ford. We've got a storage pocket there. This is cool in the center area. And you can see down below the storage and all of that. And then look at the Rebel seats. Really comfortable. I like this mesh insert in the center, and you gotta like red with the Rebel. Quite a bit of red. And just like the Ford, tons of headroom. Now as we pop into the front of the Ford, 1612 for the payload capacity. You can see with the trim here, got all of our window controls, mirror adjustments, blind spot warning with the mirrors. Turn it on. Ooh, pretty cool. Bunch of practical controls here on the front of the steering wheel, including like adaptive cruise control, controls for the center, all of that. And yeah, you guys saw full digital cage cluster. And then got a 360 camera system here at the Tremor. Good resolution overall. And then you can see up above, you've got this to pop on the camera system. You've got your off-road cruise control, shortcut bar there at the bottom with this big 12-inch display. Trailer brake controls, also Pro Trailer Assist. Rear locking differential with a 2-speed transfer case. And then we've got our dual zone climate with our radio controls there. Heated seats too. More storage down below. And then you can see with these whole center setup. And this is pretty cool with the center console. Apparently I can't open it. There we go. Whoa. Flew open. But yeah, good storage. And then you got the double glove box set up. We've got this for the power sliding rear window. 6 auxiliary switches, not sure whether they're turned on. But yeah, there you go. There's the window opening and closing. With the RAM, 1469 is the payload. And this is cool with all the red trim. Again, you gotta like red with the Rebel. This one has the trailer mirrors, which do extend out. That's ordering with them too. And full digital gauge cluster, just like the Ford. Pretty cool looking, got the nav screen, all of that. I like the trim here on the steering wheel. And then you can see you've got a lot happening here. So we've got stuff like our adaptive cruise control, your gear limiter there, drive mode select on the other side. And then we do have just a backup camera now, 360 with this Rebel, but you can get it as an option. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone climate, just like the Ford. This infotainment system, pretty cool looking how it's integrated into the dash. And then you can see at the bottom, you've got stuff like your parking sensors, you've got your trailer backup system, trailer brake controls. Now this is a big plus for the Rebel. We've got an advanced 4-wheel drive system. So you've got 2-speed transfer case and 4-wheel auto, rear locker, off-road cruise control. And then I do think Ram center console's a little bit better with the design compared to any truck in the truck industry. I've got a wireless phone charging pad there. And then again at the center console, pretty good. And you got the double glove box there. Nice trim on the dash here as well. And then we do have a power sliding window, so just press that and it'll open that up. Now when it comes to pricing, the Ford stickers for about $67K, the Ram stickers for about $69K. Let's sum up this comparison. Let's talk about visibility here on the Rebel. Visibility of the hood, both mirrors to blind spotting. Through the rest of the rear. And, well, we are going to reverse out in the Rebel here. So, yeah, this new Rebel, it's not too different with the exterior styling's a little bit different. The interior is a little bit different, but, you know, it's not too different from the previous version until you pop the hood. And then you see that there's not a Hemi anymore. There's a twin turbo inline 6. And yeah, it does make a pretty big difference in terms of how this truck drives. And I still haven't had a chance to test the new high output, but you know, that'll eventually happen. Or at least I hope it'll eventually happen. For sure in the RHO, right? But I'm most interested to see how that performs in like the regular, you know, the standard Ram. But first off, you know, having that multi-link suspension setup, it helps out quite a bit over bumps. Like, it really smooths things out. The truck stays nice and composed over all of the bumps and unevenness and all of that stuff. So it's nice. It's definitely nice. Yeah, I'd say overall, I mean, it drives quite well. Still in a parking lot, obviously, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's so weird to have a Ram, and I need to turn this up. It's so weird to have a Ram be so quiet. Because usually, you know, in Rams, you got that Hemi chug it along. But with this, hey, you've got this quiet, smooth inline 6 turbo. That's nice. Let's change the gauge cluster view. Yeah, there we go. I like that one the most. Let's get our acceleration here at the Rebel. That inline 6 is crazy. So you get this inline 6 with the 392 axle ratio, and boy does it's not that instant response that you get from the Hemi, but boy is it quick, and boy does it respond well for a turbo engine. It's fun. It's a fun engine. Doesn't sound as good as the Hemi, but it's fun. So overall, the Rebel, it looks cool and it drives well for a full-size off-road pickup truck. And setting off in the Ford Tremor. So yeah, of course we get a fuel fuel low warning. We're all good though. Man, it is really, I mean, this isn't like torrential by any means, but it's coming down. So we drove the Rebel first, now we're driving the Tremor second. And I will say the Rebel has a more like planted tank-like feel. This definitely feels, and I've talked about this quite substantially, this feels more car-like. It feels more car-like. Kind of feels a little bit lighter on its feet. I wouldn't say it's any better or worse over bumps. Does fine. Does fine over the bumps. I will say the little like unevenness in the road and everything, the little cracks and all that, you feel it more in the Tremor here than you do in the Rebel. Rebels, I think a big part of that's that multi-link in the back end smooths that out. Could also be the tires too, to an extent. Yeah, here's the weird thing is this on paper has more torque than the Rebel, but I don't know how that new Hurricane produces power. It feels a little bit better than this EcoBoost. EcoBoost isn't bad. I will say I think the sound that the EcoBoost makes is a little bit nicer, a little bit more pleasing to the ears. And in terms of putting down the power, yeah, it struggles. It struggles, just like the Rebel. It's got tons of horsepower, tons of torque, more than you need. But overall, it drives well. So yeah, out of these two, I kind of lean towards the Rebel. I just like the interior of that more. I think they both look great on the outside. I think the interiors both look great. I just think the Rebel, the seats are actually more comfortable. Usually Ford wins in the seat game, but I think in this case, Ram wins in the seat game. And then the Hurricane, again, I don't know if it's going to be reliable. The EcoBoost, it's, you know, been out for a while, so we know how reliable it is. We know all that kind of stuff, but that Hurricane, we just don't know yet. But yeah, outside of that, I don't know. I kind of lean a little bit more towards that Rebel over there.